Hello and welcome back
to the In Your Mind podcast.
It's good to be here. It's actually us again. You and me.
You and I.
You and I. Oh, you and I. Because last week we had Bells, and then the week before it was just Gemma and I. So it's been a hot minute since it's been an OG episode.
An OG episode. That's hilarious.
What have you been up to? What's been happening
Whatever
in your
I
life?
want. I've finally finished phase 1. Pray to the heavens above.
Oh.
Yeah. So I've just been doing whatever. And it's weird because...
Well, so it's not as structured, you mean? Like you're not live at the moment?
Yeah, I've tried to fully embrace at least for a couple of days, just the idea of not having to do anything at all.
Mm.
And just seeing where I naturally gravitate towards what I want to do if there were no boundaries imposed. And it's good to see that I'm still like obviously all the habits and stuff that I built because I did it for so long are still there. But it's good to see that the things that I think I want to do are actually the things that I do want to do when
the discipline isn't.
When I'm not forced to, if that makes sense.
Mm.
Yeah. And it brings a bit of the fun back.
For sure.
And I think that's probably one of the biggest things that I've been missing.
Fun.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like it just chokes out, like when you're forcing yourself to do something. I think it's good to, make yourself do it and be consistent. But I feel like I got to the point where I was forcing it for so long that there wasn't really any room to breathe. And so I was just forcing out whatever was there, and whatever was there wasn't always what was authentic to me.
You mean like creatively?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Or just motivation and will to push things to the boundary. Like if it's in a workout or, whatever it is. If you go for so long, you sort of naturally run out of steam.
Yeah. A bit stagnant and stale in routine. Yeah. Yeah. I think we are creatures of habit, but also that doesn't always lead.
Creatures of novelty too.
Yeah. But it's funny to see ourselves as creatures of habit, but then also creatures of novelty, chasing the difference. And when you force yourself to do one or the other, there is kind of a friction point where you start to crave the other.
Yeah, I feel good because I was able to go to one end of the spectrum, and now I can. Now that I'm not doing it, I feel like I have such clarity, and I don't feel bad for taking these couple of days to just fully let go a little bit to see where I actually am. Because I feel like I've earned it. Yeah, and it's now necessary for the next step, I think. I don't know how long it's going to go on for, but what about you?
Yeah, well, it's kind of just been the Christmas period, and for the last...
It's April, right?
I meant the Easter period. It's been the Easter period. And I don't know, I was a little bit scared of it because I felt like I was getting into routine, especially with uni and having to commute to Wollongong on the 2 days, and I was finally in that routine, had established kind of how I was doing it, what time I was leaving, when to study on those days, and all of those things were kind of getting fleshed out. And then I was a bit scared for the change of routine because it was unknown, and I was scared that I would fall into a state of trying to just not focusing on uni, I guess, over Easter, and not prioritizing what I need and myself, and just kind of instead being really open, or just instead just being kind of flung to the whim of others in expectation, oh, come here, do this, do that, and just being oh yeah, it's Easter, so whatever. I don't know, I feel during breaks I'm usually a little like that. I want some difference and some spontaneity, but I was trying to be really careful about still maintaining my goals and my priorities, but also knowing that I do need a bit of spontaneity and want to have fun and enjoy it, but how do I bring that balance basically into that time? And I think it managed well. Like, it wasn't perfect the whole time, but I think it was better than it wasn't what I worried about. Like, it wasn't, like, I was still able to hold my priorities there and, yeah, still have, like, uni in my mind and not feel like I need to escape from it, from something. Like, it's not like, oh, it's too overwhelming, let's shut it off for a couple of weeks. It was like, oh, let's still do something every day. Yeah, but then also, like, have fun and do spontaneous things and, like, live my life. So, yeah, I think it was good. It was cool to see a bit of growth in that area. That's what it felt like anyway. Yeah.
Do you think there's a causation, not correlation, but a causation between spontaneity and living your life?
I don't know what you mean. Like, can you explain it a bit more?
Like, do you have to be spontaneous to be fully living your life? Or is it impossible to be living your life without being spontaneous?
Well, it's living your life. So everyone's life, I believe, is quite unique and individual. So my life, is that what you're referring to? Or you think just generally?
At large.
At large.
Yeah.
I find it easier to answer questions in terms of myself and then make broader assumptions after. So my life, I feel like I do need spontaneity because it gives me new inspiration and new thoughts. And I don't know, I feel like I need some sense of routine and things that are common and grounded in my life that I enjoy. But also, I like to test whether those things are still true or work within the bounds of similar, like, routines, like, for example, like exercise or something. Like, those exercise activities, I'm fully happy for them to change. For me, I feel like I have, like, long-term goals, and the long-term goals usually require some form of routine in, like, the daily activities. But then there's always, like, room in a day to, like, switch up and do something spontaneous. And there's also varying amounts of spontaneity. Like, I might not, like, buy a plane ticket and go to Bali for a week, or, like, I don't know, like, it just but also, like, of a whim, like, going, but
But you still have spontaneity in, like, what you're gonna have for dinner.
yeah, I feel like me personally, I need elements of spontaneity in order to feel like I'm living.
Why?
It's excitement, it's difference, it's uniqueness. It's like, I guess I'm just kind of like, it's exciting because it's unique.
See, that's kind of my question. Is it the spontaneity, or is it what the spontaneity makes you feel?
I think it shows you, it can push past barriers or boundaries that you've had previously. And that's what the exciting thing is. Or it can, like, change your view on something. Like, you thought you didn't like snorkeling and then you do it and you go, oh, great, I love it. Didn't expect that. Like, I love doing something and not expecting it, or trying a new food and being like, oh, cool, I like that. Or, oh, that wasn't good, but now I know. Like, it's a new experience.
So it's just new experience.
Yeah. But also, like, I definitely, when I think of other people, I can think of some people in my life who are a lot more routine in things that they eat, the activities that they do. And then I can think of other people on the opposite end of that spectrum, and, like, seemingly to me, it doesn't seem like they have much continual routine. But also, in both of those scenarios, I'm only seeing, like, a minute aspect of their life. Like, maybe the person that seemingly has, like, really habitual things going, like daily tasks or whatever, or things that they do, maybe the way in which they approach them is different, or maybe what they're doing for their work is, or in their life, is, like, quite chaotic, so they need more control in, like, their daily habits, because there's already enough spontaneity that they need to keep some things consistent. Like, I don't know, like, you could apply spontaneity to every aspect of your life, or, like, just changes in your external environment.
I don't think you have to apply spontaneity. I think just being alive in a new day is spontaneous, because you can never predict the future.
No.
And there's just spontaneity built into that. Like, even if you try to control absolutely every element of your life, there's forced spontaneity.
Yeah.
does it have to be spontaneous for it to be new? Because we're even talking about it in our conversation it was like a week ago or something, wasn't it? That when I'm on the program, I'm reducing my level of spontaneity
Mm-hmm.
with discipline. But I don't think that reduces my new life experience because it's just a different type of experience. Like it's new in the sense that, okay, I did this yesterday. How can I do it again today?
Mm.
Like I'm doing the same thing, but it looks completely different every time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it still would be, I would say, if you're doing the same thing every day, it's still more habitual or like has got less spontaneity than you going, oh, I'm going to do this complete other thing. You know, something completely irrelevant,
Yeah,
completely different.
but
It's
I
more
don't
spontaneous.
think you could say that's a more new experience.
I do, because you've got more expectations and more assumptions of how something's going to go. No, even if you're like conscious of it, like you're kind of, there's more automatic thinking involved in activities that you've done time and time again.
That's if it's easy.
I think that's just like, that's it, full stop kind of thing.
If it's an automatic process, you don't have to think about it, right?
Yeah.
But if it's continually hard and challenging, it's not an automatic process.
There might still be some automatic processes involved. Like let's just say
Yes,
like,
but there's always automatic processes involved, even on spontaneous experiences.
yeah, but the level would be varied. Let's say you're writing in a Word document. You're still using the same tools and the same keyboard and the same letters and
Yeah.
you know, like all those things aren't new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The same could be said for the other side, though.
Yeah.
Like you're still the same person with the same thoughts and beliefs going into a new experience.
Yeah. I guess there's just like
It
so many things.
All I'm saying is it changes you differently. Does that make sense?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Like even if you were to do the same thing every single day with no spontaneity whatsoever, you would still grow.
Yes, but you wouldn't grow more than someone who's doing something completely different every time.
How can you say that?
Because there's more things to learn, more barriers to push, and more things to experience. Like,
But what are you learning about?
well, it so depends on like what activity we're actually talking about and what your usual habits are. Like,
Well,
I think
my argument is that all you're learning about is yourself. And spontaneity can give you a lot of contrast between outside and inside, so you can better differentiate who you actually are and what you actually like, don't like, don't do, all those types of things. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're kind of saying that, I don't know, I find it hard to get this concept.
What do you mean get? Like you don't understand what I'm saying, or you don't
I think
agree?
you're saying that, like, I think we need an analogy to like explain this. Like, if you're like walking down the street, the same road every day, and you just do that, you're learning the same stuff about your mind than if you were walking down a new street.
No.
You're learning about the same stuff.
No.
How is it different to that?
It's a different type of experience. Like, yes, you're learning more about yourself, but the way you do that is different. Like, if it's spontaneous, you would learn something different to if it wasn't. Like, if you were to walk down the same street over and over again, it's not that you would learn more on a spontaneously new street than if you just walk down the same one on a different day.
I guess it's just different. Like, who's to know?
Well, like, because before you walk down the street, you can't say what's going to happen on either. Like, you walk down a new street and maybe nothing happens.
But you're still taking in like more stimulus around you. Like, there's more new things around you, so you'd be taking in more and having probably more new thoughts because the external environment is feeding you a lot more new stimulus. So there's more things to potentially think about. Whereas if you're walking on the same street every day, you probably go more internal and are more like probably noticing similar things, but also you might be more internally focused and just like thinking about, I don't know, how your day's been or something, instead of like being like, oh, new street, oh, that's a really cool street. Like, you might be less present if you're just doing the same routine
You're still present in
The
your thoughts
activity.
if you're walking down the street thinking about your day. That's still a different experience. It's a new experience.
Yeah.
It's interesting. What?
It's funny.
What is?
I think it's hard to say that you would have one or the other is more unique.
No, I'm saying that they're of equal value.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's hard to say that they're unique, therefore means equal.
But I feel like before you were saying it has to be spontaneous to be of more value.
Well, I think it's more likely that the spontaneous thing would, but you can't actually say that. You don't know that.
Yeah, it's interesting. Because like, how can you say that if you, like it's a paradox. It is more likely, but you can't say it's more likely until it happens.
Yeah. Probability.
Yeah. So is it more likely? Who knows? It breaks my brain. Thank y'all for watching. Like and subscribe. Rate 5 stars on Spotify. And we'll see you again next week.
Bye, guys.